And I came in
Like you
and
can
I
start
met the
not.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 3rd regular meeting of the Louis-Riel School Board of Trustees. I call the meeting to order at 6:47, it looks like. We begin with the land acknowledgement read by Trustee Seminyola this evening.
Yeah, thank you. LRSD is LRSD land, LRSD school vision brings together a community of schools on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe and Innuak, Dakota. Our division is located on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We recognize that Manitoba is also the traditional land of Anishinaabe and Dene. We respect the treaties made on this land and acknowledge the harms and the mistakes of the past and the present. We dedicate ourselves to authentic alliances with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and cooperation. We recognize and honor Shoal Lake 40 First Nation, the source of Winnipeg's life-sustaining drinking water, as well as the treaty territories that generate and provide the electricity that powers daily activities throughout the province and beyond.
Thank you very much. Warm welcome to everybody attending in person and online this morning. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for joining us as we do our work. We appreciate that you might have questions that arise, and as such, we have a 15-minute question period at the end of our meeting where we are happy to answer questions related to this evening's agenda. If you do have questions that aren't related to the agenda, you can certainly pose them to us by sending an email to info@lrsd.net. I will also let you know that we do audio record our meetings just to ensure that our minutes are captured and recorded accurately. Unless approved in advance, photographs, recordings, audio, visual, or otherwise are not permitted. Vision of the Louis-Riel School Division is for all members of our community to excel as caring, confident, capable, lifelong learners and resilient lifelong learners who contribute to a democratic and sustainable world. And our mission is to provide a safe, inclusive, and engaging environment where personal and collective learning are valued and each one of us reaches our full potential. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of March 3rd. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Trustee Turner, Trustee Walker. Any questions on the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you. Trustee Nordheim.
sorry, it didn't come up. Yes. Thank you.
The next item is to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting February 17th. They were circulated in advance. I wasn't made aware that there were any errors or omissions. So we will accept those as they were distributed and archive them accordingly. News this evening from the Board of Trustees is being provided by Trustee Nordheim.
Thank you. So I had the opportunity to participate in I Love to Read this month. I was at two different schools with a third one to come. So I arrived at Nordale School and Hastings School and read the book called Joy to grade 1-2s, two grade 1-2 classrooms and the kindergarten class. And as we are all aware, my love for small children is not as big as my love for large children. So, and they just reinforced that by saying that I looked exactly like the old lady in the book about Joy. I really appreciated that comment. I did say to the kids that when they described to me what joy meant to them, and the majority in all three classes talked about their family, their mom, or their grandma, I said that when they went home to talk about reading a book about joy, and they shared that their family was the most, the place where they found the most joy, that they would provide joy at the dinner table that night. So that was very, very exciting, and I warmed up to them a little bit more after that. I did have the opportunity this afternoon to represent the board at the Nelson Mack Mace display, where the kids talk about issues that they feel strongly about in the community and hope that governments will listen to their pieces. There was a significant amount on homelessness, and about I would say 50% of the kids had spoken on that, and the another 30% were on healthcare. And when I asked about the reasons for their interest, they talked about they have been out in the community and doing walks around the community and observing, and that's how they did research with eyes on. And that was what they saw as part of their concerns. So it was really impressive. We also had the government show up with the with the guy in arms. I forget the exact title, but he brought the mace, which was very impressive. And I'm thinking it was a huge gold mace, as big as me, as tall as me. I'm thinking with the price of gold, that might be a good way to attack our deficit, but I didn't bring that up there. And the last thing that I want to speak to is that we have all of our schools, 7, 8, and high schools involved in basketball playoffs at the moment. This is a long season that started at the end of November. It's a lot of hours that people put into this. And I just wanted to extend our thanks on behalf of the board to all of our volunteer coaches, scorekeepers, our both on staff and community volunteers, because both are volunteering hundreds of hours with our kids in this sport. And so I wanted to wish them all good luck in the playoffs, but mostly to thank them for the experience that they provided to our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. News from senior leadership. Oh, sorry.
You have questions?
Yeah.
No, I never do this, but just wanted to mention.
Put me on the
Know
spot.
that by odd coincidence, tomorrow night is a classic. Varsity boys, Glen Lawn and Dakota. Just happened to work out that way to the playoff bracket, so I won't say which team I'm voting.
I think we all know.
You can guess, but there you go.
I'll be there with
Open the
you.
door with the basketball. I'm sorry, I had to jump in the door.
That's just fine.
Right, all right. News from senior leadership this evening, provided by Assistant Superintendent Cadet.
Thank you, Chair Dunn. It's my pleasure to bring news to the board this evening to the CJS and GH Brunswick Collegiate Families of Schools. I'll start with a story from Shamrock School, and they recently had their K-2 Literacy Night. It was a successful event that brought parents and staff together to strengthen early literacy partnerships. Designed for parents and supported by their speech language pathologist, Lindsay Sharp, the evening focused on practical strategies for helping young readers at home. sharing details on how children learn to read and the value of calm, connected learning environments. Staff shared research-informed insights and reinforced the message that home and school work together to build strong literacy foundations for the youngest learners. Very successful event. Share some of the highlights of Festival du Voyageur from some of the schools in the families of CJS and Bruns. I'll start with Island Lakes, who celebrated the week with different activities every day throughout the week, including a Voyageur bingo, pancake breakfast, and dressing as a Voyageur day, as well as a scavenger hunt and a variety of themed games. And at École Saint-Germain, they celebrated all week with different food, indoor and outdoor activities, performance from the local legendary folk ensemble Bandoline. And like Island Lakes Community Center, they did a Voyageur bingo game with all of the students. I'm gonna scroll up further. One more, there's the Saint Germain group. You can see the next picture is Bandoline with Mr. Mousseau, not holding his accordion this time. And scroll one more, and now we're at École Varennes, who celebrated with their friends and neighbors at winter school on February 20th, participating in activities like jigging and participating in various outdoor activities and games, storytelling and sitting around the campfire with hot chocolate. So a great way to celebrate the week with their friends and neighbors. And there you can see in the gym, I believe would be the dancing. And scrolling further down, Sage Creek School, in recognition of Black History Month, Sage Creek School welcomed 2 distinguished Manitobans, Uzoma Asagwara, Manitoba's Minister of Health, Seniors and Long-Term Care, and one of the first Black non-binary MLAs elected in the province, and Natalie Bell, Winnipeg-based community builder, human resources consultant, and content creator known for leadership in promoting equity and inclusion. They spoke with grade 7 and 8 students, sharing personal reflections on their upbringing and highlighting how their experiences differed from those of many young people today. Their message centered on hope, resilience, and the importance of working toward a future of success and opportunity for all Manitobans. The presentation was both meaningful and thought-provoking, and the students were highly engaged throughout. And we thank them for coming to our school community. And finally, I'm going to share a story about a divisional initiative. This is supposed to represent the J.H. Bruns Collegiate Family of Schools Therapeutic Swim Program, but this story is really about all of the families of schools, as this opportunity is offered to all of them. After several years, the therapeutic swim programming was relaunched this year to provide equitable access to warm water therapy for students with complex physical and medical needs. The program takes place at Aqua Essence in a warm water pool that runs a 6-week block for each family of schools. Approximately 12 students participate in each block, supported by their educational assistants, along with clinical staff and specially trained swim instructors who ensure the experience is safe, accessible, and individualized. I can say that the impact on students is significant. I had the opportunity and pleasure to observe a swim session for the JHB family of schools a few weeks ago, and the excitement of the students and the overall experience was genuinely moving to witness. Therapeutic swimming supports movement, strength, balance, regulation, sensory needs in a low-stress environment. And there's also a strong social component, because after each session, students and staff share lunch together, supporting relationship building and a sense of belonging across schools. This is a unique experience that would otherwise not be available to families because of the specialized supports that facilitate this event. And so here you see a picture of Emmanuel from Island Lakes Community School with his EA Pam. His principal, Angela Power, was also present to share in the excitement Emmanuel had with this experience. Angela has received permission from Emmanuel's family for me to share a little bit about his story to bring context to the purpose and impact of this kind of program. Emmanuel has a diagnosis of quadriplegia secondary to cerebral palsy, which means all 4 limbs are affected. He attends school in a manual wheelchair and is fully dependent for his mobility and personal care needs. He is a non-speaking student who uses gestures and facial cues to communicate and is currently trialing an eye gaze system. The warm water benefits of this therapeutic intervention include less pressure on joints and muscles, movements feel easier and more comfortable than outside the pool, and help maintain joint flexibility. Water naturally provides resistance, which means even small or assisted movements can keep muscles active without the risk of falling or putting pressure on the body. This also has him engaged in a leisure activity out in the community, which is an important part of the instrumental activities of daily living that are included as part of his learning plan. Many people feel happier, calmer, and more confident in the water, and being able to move more freely can be empowering and enjoyable, which supports emotional well-being. And I can say from my own experience, Emmanuel was so excited in the pool. Angela brought with her an umbrella because they had a communication of some sort before the pool event. I believe he had expressed a way that he was gonna splash her, so she came prepared, and they had laughing across. And to watch the students in the pool and the interaction that they had with the adults and the joy of just the movement in the water, it really was truly to see. One of the grandparents from a student at Shamrock School who participated that day shared the following message with us. That our family was truly blown away by the success of the therapeutic swimming program offered through LRSD this year and felt privileged to watch each of the sessions. Sense of community in the pool was palpable, and the pure joy on all the children's faces was something we will never forget. For children who so often do not have access to the same activities and experiences as their peers, this program was incredibly meaningful. The exceptional EAs and instructors created a safe, nurturing, and celebratory environment where every child could participate and succeed. And so to close, I want to acknowledge Lisa Timchuk, Divisional Supervisor of Developmental Supports and Occupational Therapist, who prioritized restarting this program this year using available funds from the Provincial Healthy Living Grant. And I want to acknowledge Travis Hoare, who in this role supporting the school and classroom support team coordinated this initiative in collaboration with divisional physiotherapists, Elan Chachanov, Aaron Unrau, and Mike Martin. This type of programming really reflects our division's commitment to inclusive interdisciplinary support for student well-being and meaningful participation and engagement in their school programming. That's the news.
Thank you very much to you and to Trustee Nordheim for bringing news this evening and a quick glimpse of just some of the many good news stories, activities and events that are taking place around the school division. We turn to finance and audit now and to our Secretary Treasurer for an update on budget 26-27.
Very much. So I'd like to report to the community of the board that we kind of gathered the information or the survey feedback from community. And so we've kind of summarized it into 7 main themes, and this is what we've heard. So under the theme of class size and composition, we heard that families and staff told us that class size matters, and so does class composition, including complex learning needs, neurodiversity, multilingual learners, and mental health challenges. For student services support, strong support for educational assistance, clinicians, counselors, and instructional supports, with many noting that 1 in 5 students requires additional or specialized supports. Feedback under mental health and well-being is that mental health and well-being support for students and staff are essential in caring and effective schools. We heard that for school infrastructure, concerns about aging buildings, ventilation, accessibility, air conditioning, and safety, and the need for greater equity between older and newer schools. For themed under equity, inclusion, and Indigenous education, support for equity, inclusion, Indigenous education, and reconciliation, alongside a desire for clarity and transparency in how commitments are implemented. For academic rigor and consistency, there is a strong desire from the community for stronger literacy and numeracy foundations, more consistent expectations across schools, and better preparation for high school and post-secondary education. And finally, under another theme was affordability and sustainability. We heard that there is a clear tension in maintaining services and concerns about affordability, with strong expectations that LRSD continue advocating for sustainable provincial funding. So those are the 7 main themes that we heard from all the feedback that we received from the community.
Trustees, any comments on these themes and information and thoughts that our community has shared with us? Trustee Walker.
Well, excuse me, I'll agree with the, I agree with all of it, but particular class size is such an important consideration. I'm a grade 1-2 teacher, and keeping classes under 20 kids is just so important. Those kids really need our attention. Providing ourselves, it's just impossible. So, thank you for sharing that.
Anyone else? All right, a reminder to those in the room and those listening in that on March 10th, that's next week, we'll have a special meeting to adopt the budget for 2026-2027. Thank you, as always, to our Secretary Treasurer, Superintendent, and the entire senior team for everything that they are doing to ensure that the budget is reflective of conversations that we are having as a board and the thoughts that are being represented from our community through those conversations. That takes us to chair information from the board, just one item this evening. So as you will know, the board is engaged in a search for the next superintendent and CEO of Louisville School Division. Just advising everyone that at this stage, the job description, job ad has been posted to a number of platforms, LinkedIn and Indeed. It has also been distributed to related associations in the province and across the country. So we consider this a national search, and with applications due to the board by March 20th. And then we will enter the second phase of search, or the next phase, maybe not the second phase. Senior leadership team information to the board is item 6, starting with the capital projects update, and turn to our superintendent.
Trustees are seeing a report on progress across both provincially and divisionally funded capital projects. At Island Lakes Community School, the modular units are in place, inspections are complete. And we're just waiting on those final certifications and approval for occupancy. Shamrock School building envelope construction is underway with complete demolition and structural work in progress. We have several science classroom renewal projects in our high schools that have received authorization. At École Marianne Gabory, the heating and ventilation upgrade is completion. École Saint-Germain boiler replacement is also fully complete and operational. On the divisionally funded side, just want to highlight the significant volume of work across 35 projects across as many schools. And those projects include washroom upgrades, accessibility improvements, flooring replacements, lighting upgrades, bike cages, bottle filling stations, learning space renovations, and the projects directly improve safety, accessibility, and daily learning conditions for students and staff. And that is my summary of the report. Trustees see in front of them.
Trustees, any questions on the report before you? Trustee Semenyola.
Yeah, a couple, for Island Lakes School, do we have a timeline for expected occupancy?
I'm hoping days, not weeks. It's really on the permitting side and occupancy, so we're waiting to hear back from the city.
Okay.
And we keep reminding the city that we're waiting to hear back.
For Shamrock, we talk about phase 1 now in there. Do we have the scope of work, what the phase 1 entails, or is it just everything that's listed that you just listed out?
I can bring a more detailed report if you're interested related to Shamrock. I can make that happen.
Anyone else? All right, that takes us to school and classroom support team monthly meeting, the highlights, which will be shared by the Director of School and Classroom Supports, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you. So last Tuesday, every early dismissal day, we meet as a school classroom support team. Our day started with Rosie Gray and Shauna Strike sharing an update on the 10 well-being focus groups that took place in December and January. So over those dates, they were able to meet with 56 members of the school and classroom support team. Focus groups offer an opportunity for members of the team to dive deeper into the Guarding Mind survey data, learn more about current pitch points around staff well-being, and explore strategies that can make a difference to being well at work. That's how our day started. The bulk of our day in the morning, when we're there as a whole group though, is spent in different cross-discipline action groups. I've sort of shared the 13 in previous board meetings. I'd just like to highlight some of the work from a handful of them. So under the multilingual learners group, we're more than halfway through the year, or more than halfway through these meetings. So we're now talking about artifacts and some kind of final product. So they've been busy exploring the opportunities that AI is providing, and created an agent to use within Copilot to support MLL learners. So they've created, with the help of Clark Hagan, an agent called LEAP, which is used to analyze individual students' assessments for multilingual learners. And it puts it up against the provincial assessment framework. The agents can help create individual learning programs for each MLL student, and they can be utilized by classroom teachers to map onto the units of study. So what's nice about these school and classroom support team action groups is it's the mix of people that make up these groups. So in the MLL group, you've got instructional support team teachers, you've got speech and language pathologists, assistant superintendent, social worker, and then a member from the language exposure program team working on all of that work. The second big project that they are focused on to have completed before the end of the year is for the last 3 years, they, in conjunction with the Renee Lerm Center, have collaborated with the school and classroom support team to put on a presentation for newcomer Canadians that have joined our school division. It's typically done at the beginning of the year. And this group has, they're working to get this into a video format that so at any point in any of our schools, when families move in from other parts of the world, that they can have access to the same information that shares about Manitoba curriculum, how to connect with the school community, just as well as other important information around report cards, parent-teacher conferences, school calendars, what an early dismissal day is, everything else that is new to them for starting school in Canada. Another group that is working, that is a mix of our data strategy officer, a speech and language pathologist, an instructional teacher, as well as some psychologists, is looking at full day kindergarten with a specific focus on complex learning in full day K. So they're taking the information that's available through the resource allocation framework. They've identified 4 or 5 of our schools that have the highest percentage of what we would call complex learners in kindergarten. And the plan or their product or their project is to get in and to do some interviews with the kindergarten teachers and to collect the best practices that are working to support those kids as they start their time in Louisville in kindergarten. And the last group that I would like to highlight tonight is our neurodiversity group, which once again is made up of this collection of occupational therapists, psychologists, rehab assistants, speech and language pathologists. And their final product or their artifact that they're pulling together is to create an online bank of visuals that will be accessible to all schools, accompanied by a supporting document that staff can listen to in the video format that provides further information around the purpose of visuals and the use of them with all of our neurodivergent learners in all the schools and classrooms in the division. So we really value having this meeting once a month. It's not a common thing in our Metro School divisions to be able to bring in all of our clinical team, our instructional team, our Indigenous education team. We have our morning together, and then in the afternoon, we break off into other groups. And it's always done on our staff meeting day so that we can have people back out in the schools for staff meeting. And it's nice to be able to come back to it month after month. So that's the format we've used this year to keep people engaged and to have them working across disciplines. And we're looking forward to meeting again in March, April, and May.
Thank you very much. That was a very full day that you had with your group. Questions for Director Kelly? Trustee Nordheim.
Just a comment more than a question, but I neglected to say when I was reading to the kindergarten class, that was my first, I've heard the full day K reports here at the board, but I haven't kind of been in a full day K classroom. And watching them do a literacy lesson with their little whiteboards in a hot dog format, like they speak a different language there. They were reading, and that classroom was magic. There's nothing else I could say in terms of how exciting it was to see that kind of literacy work actually in action. So anyways, just a comment. So if that's what's coming out of those meetings where people get to share that, that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Item 6.3 is just confirming the divisional dates for the next school year through the superintendent to Assistant Superintendent Anderson.
Yes, thank you very much, Trustee Nemeth. I can share that we have been busily preparing for next year already. Although we've just passed day 100 and second semester has just begun, we're in full swing planning for 26-27. Tomorrow on the divisional website under About Us calendar, the public will be able to consult the 6-day calendar for next year, as well as the list of all 8 divisional PD dates that will occur next year. There are 2 school-based PD dates that vary from school to school. Those dates will be posted by mid-March. And also on the website is a 4-year Metro Winnipeg school planning calendar that shows an overview from 2025 to 2029. It just gives families who are planning ahead, wanting to know when will winter break or spring break be in 28, 29. The dates are available for folks that are looking to plan in advance. So all of that information will be available through the divisional website, and schools will be sharing it in their own ways as well.
Thank you. Questions on this item? Comments? All right, seeing none, that takes us to correspondence. I have some pieces of correspondence that have been received. We also had 2 letters that were sent out and then received from the Manitoba School Boards Association. Information related to convention, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, and the February e-bulletin, which has lots of information on learning opportunities, division, and association initiatives. We have 1 action item this evening, which is to pass the board meeting schedule for 2026-2027. Trustees will see in the attachment the board meeting dates. And the recommendation is that the board approve the list of board meeting dates for the 2026-27 school year as provided in the attachment. We're in a seconder, please. Trustee Bjornson, second Trustee Walker. Any questions or comments on this schedule? Seeing none, all in favor? Anyone opposed? And the motion is carried. Thank you very much. All right, we are at public question period, and so I will look online first to see if anyone joining us has any questions. See any hands up? None? No, okay. Questions from anybody in attendance in the room today?
Yes.
Ina.
Just a few here, CEO recruitment, I'll just read the 3 and you can answer them.
Sure.
Has the board engaged with a recruitment firm to expand the scope of the search, pardon me, to potentially tap prospects? Who is participating on the interview panel, and will the entire board be voting on the successful candidate?
We have not engaged with an external firm. We feel that we are well supported, not only with expertise around the board table, but that we can access through the Manitoba School Boards Association. We haven't, what was your second question? Sorry, around?
Who will be participating on the interview panel?
We haven't discussed that, but my assumption would be that it would be the whole board, and it will be the whole entire board that votes on who the successful candidate is.
I'm surprised to hear you'd have a panel of 9, but happy to hear that, because I think all 9 should weigh in. So I'm happy to hear that.
Okay.
And then just a question on, if I may, just registration. I guess my question is related to, you can't participate in the public question period unless we make it easier to participate in the meetings. And I have been here before advocating for this. So I would like to remind the board that for the budget consultation posted in January, there was no identification was required to participate virtually or in person. I freely walked into St. Mary's Road. You were hosting or facilitating it, Sandy. There were certainly folks that were asking questions virtually. There was no ID requirement. So just knowing that, and I believe it was a successful meeting, when might the board consider removing the ID requirements to attend a public board meeting?
At this point, we don't have any conversations scheduled around that at all.
Okay.
And I will take the opportunity just to offer some clarity on the rationale behind that, is for us to know who it is that is joining us. If for ever they reach back out to us, you know the story, if you will, of why those particular parameters were put in place originally, and then why they were relaxed a little bit afterwards. And the board feels that, given the feedback that we get from not only around the table here, but the folks that are working in this building as we are entering, it is a process that is appreciated and we haven't had any conversation on shifting that. Will we in the future? I can't say, but there's nothing planned at this time.
And that is unfortunate because as we all know that the meeting was hijacked June of 2022. So actually, as we close on this 4-year mandate, the entire 4-year term, there has been, I'm gonna call it roadblocks to participation. I might suggest, like, for all of your LRSD parents, right, who have registered children, you do have their emails. So you might want to consider if it's an outsider. So it's someone like my mom, who's a taxpayer, 85 years old and wants to come sit here. You want her to produce her identification. I guess perhaps like me, I no longer have an LRSD email. My son is no longer in the system, but it's concerning that your LRSD parents have to jump through that hoop. So I'm going to ask you to seriously revisit that with your team.
So again, just to offer some clarity, and we can certainly, and maybe let's talk about this while I'm going to adjourn the meeting. That our senior staff that have been on the job and a lot of other people all day can go, but I would just want to make sure that what you think the process is and what the process actually is aligned. And we can talk about that right away. So the meeting is adjourned. I wish everybody a good night and thank you for joining us.